A week before the wedding, my fiancé Rowan said he had to get married to his first love before marrying me, because his first love's mother passed away and left a will hoping that they would get married. Aurora's mother always wanted her to marry a good man. I'm just fulfilling her last wish, don't think too much about it. But the company has decided to launch the True Love series of jewelry items on our century wedding day, he said impatiently. It's just a few billion. How can it compare to Aurora's filial piety? If you really want to make those billions, go find someone to marry yourself. Faced with his cold words, I understood what he meant and turned around to call home. Brother, help me introduce a new marriage partner, my brother asked in disbelief. You want to break up the engagement? No, he married someone else, I smiled bitterly. In order to be with Rowan, I went through a lot of hardships in my family before I got my parents' approval. And they also scheduled the release of the True Love series of jewelry on the wedding day. But now, everything is in vain. My brother was stunned for a long time before he said, then it can only be Callum. His family is in a hurry and he is also looking for a marriage partner recently. I frowned. Callum is my mortal enemy. On the day of our engagement, he cursed my marriage dream to be shattered, and I didn't expect that his words would come true. Time was running out, so I could only say, that's him. Please ask him about his intentions. If that doesn't work, I'll find another way, my brother said quickly. No need to ask, he will definitely agree. What? Before I could ask anything else, a group of people surrounded me. You must be Rowan's fiancé, you're so beautiful. You're here to wait for Rowan to get off work, right? He'll be down soon. You two are so in love. I held the steering wheel and lowered my eyes to hide the self-mockery in them. Rowan introduced me to his colleagues and friends in the early years, and in the eyes of everyone we were an enviable model couple, but no one could have imagined that he was about to marry someone else. After saying goodbye to everyone, Rowan got in the car and handed me a necklace. Aurora asked me to give it to you. You embarrassed him at the funeral yesterday. Take some time to apologize to him. This necklace is obviously a free gift when you buy the original product. I saw it in Rowan's shopping cart a few days ago. I said calmly, I don't want it. Rowan frowned. What are you doing? You rushed to the funeral and embarrassed her by saying that I wasn't her fiancé, but she didn't care and even thought about bringing you a gift. You don't appreciate it. The man who used to protect me is no longer there, and now he cherishes someone else. Rowan opened the window irritably to let in the wind, after a long time. Seeing that I didn't follow his lead and coax him, he said, forget it, I'm going to go with you to try on wedding dresses today. I won't bother with you. This is the first time he has given in this year. When we arrived at the bridal shop, the clerk came up to us. Rowan, Isla, your 20 custom-made wedding dresses and suits are ready. Rowan's eyes were not on the clothes. Instead, he lowered his head and looked at his phone with a bit of urgency on his face, after noticing my gaze. He quickly put away his phone, with a hint of apology on his face. Isla, something happened in Aurora's place. I have to rush over right away. You try on the wedding dress yourself, and help me choose a suit. I trust your taste. After saying that, he hurriedly hailed a taxi and left, leaving me alone. The clerk hurried over and asked tentatively, Isla, do you want to choose the suit yourself? I looked away and nodded. Of course I have to choose a suit, but it's not for Rowan, after all. The groom has changed. I got in the car and went home. I thought Rowan would not be home all night, but I saw him before dinner. He strode up to me, a lunchbox in his hand. I went all over the city to buy this for you. This is Hai Rui's midnight snack. I looked at the basket of shrimp dumplings. There were 3 fewer than usual, and one of them had a tooth mark on it, obviously having been bitten by someone. Half an hour ago, I saw Lynn Aurora posting on WeChat Moments. The picture shows the food in my hand. My husband didn't forget to buy me midnight snacks. Thank you for your hard work, my husband. I put down my chopsticks in self-mockery and instantly lost my appetite. If you don't want to eat it, throw it away. Rowan looked at me displeased for a moment, but held back his anger and sat next to me to complain. Aurora was today. My parents came to her house and scolded her for having no money and not even a decent dowry. She was so anxious that she cried. Aurora just returned home and doesn't have much money. I want to give her the dowry you brought with you first. His unyielding tone made me feel sick. I looked at him sarcastically. So I still have to give a dowry to your wife. I used to care about Rowan. As long as he asked, I would give him everything and do anything for him. But now he woke me up himself. Thinking about it, everything he has done since Aurora Lynn returned to China was for Aurora Lynn. He has forgotten that I am the one who will accompany him for the rest of his life. My answer annoyed Rowan. What do you mean? You don't want to? You'd better understand. Aurora is my best friend. You'd better make her happy. Otherwise I won't marry you. After saying that, he slammed the door and left, feeling depressed. I went downstairs to the park to run. I had just finished running a lap when I received a call from Callum. Callum, who always had a stern face. I hesitated for 2 seconds and pressed the answer button. Once you're on my ship, you're mine. If you dare to run away, I'll help tie you back. Callum's first sentence was a critical hit. I remained silent, and he continued, send the ID card to me first and I'll collect it. I'm afraid you'll regret it, Callum. There's something wrong with you. I have already imagined thousands of scenarios in my mind where he would use the convenience of marriage to torture me. In the end, he could only utter, see you at the wedding, Master Shan. Soon as I finished speaking, Rowan appeared behind me. Callum, to our wedding. I won't allow it. He stared at me as if facing a great enemy. Isla, didn't I tell you not to associate with Callum? He has ulterior motives towards you. If you insist on inviting him to our wedding, don't blame me for turning my back on him. Before I said a word, he had already made a harsh statement. Rowan has never liked Callum and was inexplicably hostile to me. When we first got together, he became jealous because Callum and I often argued with each other on WeChat. Later, I gradually lost contact with Callum, but he actually said, Callum has ulterior motives towards me. I was about to ask more when Lynn Aurora suddenly fell on Rowan's neck. Rowan, you pinched me. Only then did I realize that they were walking hand in hand. Rowan coughed twice unnaturally, but made no move to pull his hand back. Lynn Aurora looked at Rowan tenderly and apologized to me helplessly. Sister Isla, I'm sorry. Rowan and I are getting familiar with the wedding process in advance. Please don't mind. I won't tell anyone about you hiring someone to beat me up and destroying my mother's grave, but please don't hurt Rowan. I really can't stand the temptation. I don't want to watch green tea acting, so I turn around and leave. Since you're looking forward to it so much, I'm going to find someone to beat you up tonight and then dig up your mother's grave. Bang! Rowan slapped me hard across the face. Isla, how can you be so vicious? There was a darkening between his brows and his chest was heaving. Am I vicious? He would believe any gossip that someone spread. But my 5 years of friendship with him couldn't earn me any trust from him. I suddenly became angry and wanted to question Rowan, but Aurora Lynn stood in front of him. Sister Isla, please, I will return Rowan to you as soon as the wedding is over. Please have mercy on me and don't hurt the people around me. And don't hurt Rowan. As she spoke, she was about to kneel down in front of me. Rowan hurriedly put his arms around her waist to prevent her from kneeling, and glared at me. Isla, don't play your rich girl bullying game. You know I hate this the most, so if you still want to marry me, stop making trouble. After that, he warned me not to appear in front of them during the period before the wedding. Unexpectedly, Rowan contacted me the next day. He started to scold her right away. Isla, did you really go and dig up Aunt Lynn's grave? I didn't expect you to be that kind of person. Full of doubts, I called my assistant to investigate. But what they found out was extremely shocking. Lynn Aurora's mother is not dead. No wonder Lynn Aurora was so cruel that she dug up her own mother's grave to frame me. Turns out death is a hoax. I texted Rowan. Aurora Lynn's mother is not dead. The truth is in the email I sent you. Whether he watches it or not is none of my business. The flight was booked 3 days later, and Callum booked it himself. Rowan came back. He saw me packing my things. Half of the clothes were thrown away, and a small part was sent to South City. Why are you collecting clothes? Rowan looked hesitant, replied perfunctorily, moving. He was silent for a moment, not realizing anything was wrong, and continued to talk to himself. The Cheen family's company is in South City. We're going to settle there after we get married, so we should pack up early. After saying that, he looked at me fiercely again. You should apologize for what happened to Aurora's mother as soon as possible. Don't make it hard on me. How about on the wedding day? After he finished speaking, He dropped his phone and went to look for his ID card. Today was the day he and Aurora Lynn were going to get their marriage certificate. He didn't come back until the evening. So I turned on my phone and a text message from Lynn Aurora popped up. In the picture, Rowan and she are wearing couple outfits and sleeping in the same bed. I closed my eyes, but my heart still couldn't help but ache. I suppressed my emotion and turned off my phone. Late at night, the phone next to my pillow started vibrating every hour. Every time it vibrated, it was a provocation from Aurora Lynn, who sent me a video of her and Rowan. It wasn't until the next morning that Callum messaged me. Isla, the flowers are blooming. You can go home slowly. The accompanying pictures are 2 red books. There is also a pot of gorgeous red peonies. I didn't expect that he was still keeping the flower I gave him casually that year. For some reason, a strange emotion arose in my heart. I replied with one word, okay. I put my phone down and went to pack up my work files on my computer. I didn't know when Rowan came back. He packed his daily luggage and said, I'm moving in with Aurora for a few days. She's too busy preparing for the wedding by herself. Remember to show up on time for the wedding the day after tomorrow. Don't be late. After saying that, he gave a long explanation, saying that he was just there to help and asked me not to cause trouble again. Well, I won't go, I said, with my eyes downcast. After last night, the last bit of affection I had for him had completely dissipated. Rowan looked at my calm appearance. An unknown panic swept over his body, and he suddenly hesitated. But thinking of Lynn Aurora's annoying coquetry, his grip on the phone loosened again. Isla loves him so much, what could go wrong? Thinking of this, he breathed a sigh of relief, stopped bothering me, and disappeared from my sight. I watched him leave and made a phone call. That evening, a helicopter landed in the square. A man stepped forward and said, Isla, the helicopter you ordered has arrived and will take you safely to South City in half an hour. I nodded and handed a file bag to the other party. Send this file bag to the wedding site tomorrow. It's my wedding gift to the bride and groom. Rowan, a message on time. Happy wedding. At the wedding, Rowan looked towards the door and asked Secretary Liu, why hasn't Isla come yet? We agreed to apologize to Aunt Lynn in public today. Secretary Liu was scrolling through the news, his brows furrowed. She probably can't come. She's busy with the wedding right now. Hearing this, Rowan stood in the middle of the banquet hall, completely stunned. The wedding scene was decorated with Lynn Aurora's favorite champagne roses, making the entire banquet hall look like a dream. Under the stage, guests were drinking and chatting. Everything is so beautiful. However, Rowan tightly grasped his phone, staring at the news on it. China's female president is newly married. The True Love series is officially launched. With cold sweat on his palms, he hurriedly dialed the number he had memorized, but no one answered. How so? Lynn Aurora walked straight towards him and held his hand. Rowan, what's wrong? Your hands are so cold. Rowan held his hand back. Isla, she married someone else. Lynn Aurora took the phone and took a look at it, frowned, and then smiled. How is that possible? Sister Isla loves you so much. This must be a business tactic. Businessmen like them will do anything for money, even fake marriages. Fake marriage. Rowan's panicked expression calmed down a little. Okay Rowan, the wedding is about to start. Let's go upstairs. The MC stood on the stage to preside over the wedding. Rowan forced a smile on his face again, and he and Aurora Lynn exchanged rings and kissed each other. Just when everything seemed perfect, the door of the banquet hall was suddenly pushed open with a loud bang. A group of men in black walked in neatly. Rowan subconsciously thought that Isla was causing trouble, and just as he was about to smile and attack, he suddenly froze, because the people who came in were not Isla, but a group of policemen in uniform. He panicked and asked, Comrade Police, we are all ordinary people. We haven't done anything wrong, right? The leading policeman ignored him and directly opened a document. Miss Isla accused Aurora Lynn of illegally occupying other people's property. The evidence is solid. Please come with us. Rowan was completely panicked. Comrade police officer, what do you mean by illegal occupation? That was the dowry Isla gave me. I gave it to Aurora through legal channels. The police officer frowned. The legal channels you mentioned are not reasonable here, and the person involved, Ms. Isla, does not agree with it. Rowan refuted strongly. That was Isla's way. She did it to ruin my wedding with Aurora." The police stared at her coldly. "Sir, please don't interfere with public affairs. Take her away." Lynn Aurora was taken away, and the wedding was instantly thrown into chaos. The relatives of the Lynn family talked loudly. It turned out that Lynn Aurora's dowry was taken from others. How shameless! Rowan's parents' faces were as dark as the bottom of a pot, and they pointed at Rowan's head and scolded him. You, what stupid things have you done? You gave up a good and attractive woman and married a poor man. Now, you have nothing left." Rowan calmed down. "Mom, this is Isla's way of forcing me to surrender. I'm going to find Isla to save Aurora now." Just as he was about to take a step forward, a man blocked her way. "Rowan, this is a wedding gift from Isla. A mobile phone connected to a big screen. When the mobile phone is turned on, disgusting and dirty pictures and words burst into everyone's eyes. The screen was filled with the chat records between Rowan and Aurora Lynn over the past year, and the last video makes people blush and their hearts beat faster." Rowan's face turned pale as paper in an instant. How did she have these? She actually knew everything. When he saw the sender's message, his expression froze completely. Lynn Aurora. Ever since Lynn Aurora came back a year ago, she has been sending Isla screenshots of chats, each of which hinted at Isla to quit on her own initiative. Isla hasn't kissed him since a year ago, and her attitude towards him has changed drastically. At last, listening to the unbearable sound, Rowan suddenly smashed towards the big screen. "Don't look at it, don't look at it, this is fake." He frantically tried to turn off the display, but his fingers were shaking so much that he couldn't do it, and he even turned up the volume. The wedding ended up being a farce. When my assistant messaged me about this, I had just arrived home from my wedding to Callum. When I saw the message, I couldn't help but smile. "I see, well done." Then I decisively turned off my phone and completely erased Rowan from my life. Callum and I returned home. Our wedding room was in a villa in Nanshan. Callum and I felt very awkward as we went from being enemies to being a couple. I was just about to ask him if he wanted to draw up an agreement so that the two of them could get along with each other without interfering with each other. Unexpectedly, Callum hugged me and kissed me. "Humph, Isla, don't think that I want to marry you just because I have no choice." After a pause, her tone softened. But don't try to fool me. I have never thought about getting married again. And you should not have such an idea either." I stood there in a daze, not noticing Callum's flushed face. I was about to speak when Callum's phone rang. He picked up the phone, then looked at me and pressed the speaker. "Callum, is that you? I need to talk to you about something. Is that possible?" Without waiting for Callum to speak, I replied directly, "It's inconvenient." I went to hang up, but Callum dodged me. Rowan's almost frantic voice came from the phone. "Isla, why are you in another man's house at this time?" "And Callum," I sneered, "your question is ridiculous. Today is my wedding day. Where else can I be if I'm not with my husband?" Rowan couldn't believe it. "Didn't you and him get married for the project?" I smiled faintly. Who plays the game of fake marriage these days? "Are you a child, Isla? You'd better get a divorce immediately." He threatened me hysterically. Callum took the phone and said coldly, "Rowan, please don't harass a married woman. Isla is my wife now. She has nothing to do with you. I advise you to wake up as soon as possible." Rowan yelled like crazy. "Callum, you coveted Isla before, and now you shamelessly come after her when there's a misunderstanding between us. Why do you think she married you? It's not for the jewelry project. She only loves me." I snatched the phone and hung up. "Don't talk to him. He's a lunatic." Callum and I both had a barely perceptible blush on our faces. Callum coughed in mock seriousness. "You're spineless to be so upset about your ex-boyfriend." He crossed his arms, but there was a hint of concern in his eyes. I retorted, "I don't know who is so heartbroken for me." He came up suddenly and covered my mouth. While we were playing around, we seemed to have returned to the way we were before. 3 days later, there will be a return banquet, which is also Chin's anniversary celebration. After discussing it, the two families decided to do it together, but who knew that something went wrong? Rowan actually invited reporters to the press conference and accused Callum of being a mistress. For a moment, reporters pointed their microphones at Callum and the scene was chaotic. I faced the group of reporters before Callum could stand up. The marriage between the Chin family and the Shen family is clean and above board. One wants to marry, the other wants to marry. The documents are complete. How can there be a mistress? I hope you will be careful with your words and actions, otherwise the Chin's legal department will not let you off easily. The reporters then quieted down a little. Callum stared at me with an indulgent smile. I glanced at him and felt my ears burning. But Rowan was well prepared and played my love story with him on the big screen, which also included the photos of Callum that he secretly took. That was last year when I was injured skiing and almost died in the hospital. It turned out that Qingju came to see me secretly, and 2 years ago, when I won an award for my jewelry design, Callum stood in the audience and cheered for me. 3 years ago, on my birthday, Callum secretly set off fireworks all over the city for me. 2 years ago, 1 year ago, all of them were secretly photographed by Rowan. No wonder he was always convinced that Callum liked me. I looked at Callum, and his usually cold face was flushed. The contrast made him look somewhat cute. Rowan continued to accuse Callum of his evil deeds one sentence at a time, and his words were sincere. I interrupted him. Here, I just want to make one thing clear. Rowan is already married, and got the marriage certificate before Qingju and I. I signaled to my assistant to display the evidence on the big screen. Everyone was shocked, thinking that your circle was really chaotic. After all, Rowan has always been regarded by the public as the son-in-law of the Chin family. When the groom was suddenly replaced on the wedding day, everyone subconsciously thought that the Chin family looked down on Rowan's background and temporarily changed his marriage partner. But now that Rowan's marriage certificate to someone else has been exposed, the drama is going to be really exciting. Rowan's face was gloomy and he argued desperately, "Don't listen to her nonsense, Aurora," and I had no choice but to get the marriage certificate in order to fulfill her mother's last wish. "Isla, you clearly know all this. I've already said that I'll divorce Aurora and marry you as soon as I'm done. Why are you still slandering me like this?" Rowan thought that after he asked these questions, the reporters would immediately change their attitude and praise him and Aurora Lynn for their filial piety. But the actual situation is, Isla is so pitiful. How could she meet such a man? What kind of values are these? This is simply disgusting. Right, if he says so, then I will die right now and let my son marry the princess of country A and reach the pinnacle of his life. You, Rowan couldn't believe it. Bang, my mother slapped him in the face. Isla has given so much to you. I was wondering why she suddenly changed her groom. I was worried that he would let you down. It turns out that she covered her chest with her hands, looking heartbroken. Callum supported my mother and I immediately stepped forward. I looked at Rowan, who was the target of public criticism, and couldn't help but smile. It seems that there are still more normal people in this world, and only Rowan thinks that his style is so touching. In fact, he just wanted to satisfy his own selfish desires. Rowan still refused to give up and pointed at Callum. "So what? It's a fact that Callum seduced my wife." I corrected him. "Please speak properly. Your wife is Aurora Lynn. Don't tarnish my husband's reputation." Callum said, "There's nothing wrong with secretly liking someone, Rowan. I have a clear conscience." Yes. The reporters echoed, "There's nothing wrong with having a crush on someone. But Rowan is the one who is making things difficult for himself and pushing the person he loves away." Seeing that all public opinion was leaning towards one side, Rowan became hysterical. He held me and said, "Isla, you know I love you. Aurora and I were just confused for a moment. If it weren't for her mother, I would never have married her." I pulled my hand back and looked at him calmly without saying a word. He cried and shouted, "That's a filial piety. Can you bear to watch a single mother die with regrets? How can you rich people be so cold-blooded? You don't understand the pain of ordinary people like us." As he screamed, a figure pushed through the crowd and rushed towards me. There was a flash of a knife, and Callum pushed me away. With a swish, the knife pierced Callum's back, and blood soaked his clothes. I shouted for a doctor. The woman who committed the crime had been subdued by the security guards. She was shouting, "Give me back my daughter! Give me back my daughter!" The woman turned out to be Lynn Aurora's dead mother. Rowan was stunned. "Mom, aren't you dead?" Mother Lynn tried to pull Rowan, but Rowan came to his senses and pushed her away. "So you've been lying to me?" He questioned Lynn's mother with bloodshot eyes. Mother Lynn struggled and gave Rowan a loving smile. Rowan, Mom did this for you and shouting, you two clearly loved each other. But that person took you away. I'm just helping you to set things right and find true happiness. Rowan slapped her across the face. My only happiness is Isla. Damn old woman, what's your daughter? It's you who broke up Isla and I. Go to hell. As he said this, he was about to strangle Lynn's mother. Fortunately, the police arrived in time and stopped the chaos. Lynn's mother was detained on suspicion of faking her own death, and Rowan was also taken to the police station. Callum, who looked pale and felt full of guilt. I remember that I once showed off my happiness in front of him and gave him a cold face, and no one would like me in my life. What should he have been thinking at the time? Chingju, I'm sorry. I moved the red peony that he had carefully nurtured to the ward, and I solemnly swore to the red peony, Isla's only husband for the rest of her life is Callum. One morning, I just opened my eyes and saw Callum staring at me. Isla, I heard everything. Please give me your guidance for the rest of my life. I smiled and said, please advise me. With everyone's careful care, Callum was discharged from the hospital soon. My mother specially booked an island tour for us, claiming that she wanted to make up for our honeymoon. I didn't expect to see Rowan on the island. He stopped me on the beach and apologized to me sincerely. I thought he was truly sorry, but he suddenly grabbed me and said, Isla, I love you. Divorce Callum and be with me. Okay. I was shocked by his shamelessness. I lifted my eyelids and glanced at him up and down, and said solemnly, I'm already married. Rowan, please respect yourself. Aurora, who had been hiding behind a tree, rushed up and slapped me. Asshole, I'm pregnant and you still want to seduce my husband. She grabbed my hand and said, everyone, come and see. This mistress who seduces other people's husbands is not worthy of being a human being. Lynn Aurora's face showed a desperate look. The lady selling ice cream next to me sighed. Little girl, the wife is pregnant, and you are still messing with her husband. That's outrageous. Others also advised and blamed me. I looked at Rowan. Your so-called love for me means allowing Aurora Lynn to slander me as a mistress in public. Rowan avoided her gaze, lowered his head and did not answer. I sneered and was about to fight back when Callum hugged me and pushed Aurora Lynn away. He pointed at Rowan and said sarcastically, everyone, please judge for yourself. This man was originally my wife's fiancé, but he used my wife's dowry to hold a wedding with his first love and even got a marriage certificate. Is this something a human being would do? Now that he has no money, he wants to blame my wife. My wife doesn't like him, but he still wants to blackmail me. Rowan was dumbfounded and his face turned pale after being exposed so blatantly. The people around him immediately understood what was going on, and some even recognized him as the man who had caused a scene at our press conference. He is the scumbag who abandoned the eldest daughter of the Chin family for his first love and even planned to divorce and marry the eldest daughter again. Don't you even look in the mirror to see if you are worthy enough? He wants everything. He's just a gigolo. The passers-by did not expect the reversal to come so quickly, and immediately realized that they were being used as a gun. They all cursed and dispersed. I breathed a sigh of relief and buried my head in Callum's neck. Hubby, I'm lucky to have you. Callum hugged me tightly and snorted proudly. I have waited so long for you to become my wife. There are men coveting you out there, so I am naturally on guard at all times. I sighed. With a husband like this, what else could a wife ask for? Seeing this scene, Rowan was so angry that he pushed Lynn Aurora hard. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Lynn Aurora's eyes are red. Rowan, give up on her. She doesn't love you anymore. We are married now. Let's live a good life from now on. Okay. Rowan pushed him away fiercely. Living with you. Dream on. You and your mother are two liars. Poor and worthless. People like you are not even as good as a hair of Isla. Why should I live with you? Lynn Aurora was stunned. No, that's not the case. Didn't you say I'm the best woman in the world? Rowan yelled at her with red eyes. You are so narcissistic. Do you believe what he said in bed? Lynn Aurora's face was full of hurt. Even so, you are willing to raise money to bail me out, which means you still love me. Otherwise, why don't you just watch me sit in jail for the rest of my life? Rowan sneered. That's because I want you to pursue Callum and help me break them up. I was just playing with you. I never loved you. You should be thankful that you look a bit like Isla. Otherwise I wouldn't even look at you." Lynn Aurora went completely crazy, squatting on the spot and screaming wildly. Rowan looked towards me. After hearing what he said, I felt only deep disgust and aversion towards him. I took Callum's hand and left the beach. After the honeymoon, we returned to South City. I officially took over the company, and Callum became the person in charge of Shun Group. We take some time out from our busy schedule and live a pretty enjoyable life. That day, I was working in the company when my assistant suddenly said that a man downstairs wanted to see me. I refused to see you, but the assistant said the person was Rowan, and that she came to me to fulfill her promise. I came to the reception room. Rowan sat on the sofa and handed me a love lock. I recognized it at once. It was the one we hung on the wishing bridge 3 years ago. He smiled, facing the colorful clouds in the evening. "Isla, we agreed that the love lock would fulfill one of each other's wishes in the future. Now, I have thought of a wish," I sneered. "Are you really going to fulfill your promise?" He nodded solemnly. "Yes, I want you to give me a chance, even if you refuse to divorce Callum. I will be with you forever." I gently played with the love lock, and my smile deepened. "Then you should go find Aurora, Lynn. After all, her name is engraved on the love lock." Rowan was stunned, and pulled back the love lock to check it in disbelief. Maybe he has forgotten that the name he engraved that year was not mine. I didn't tell him that on the day he and Aurora Lynn decided to get married, I walked again the same place we had walked before. This is how the concentric lock was discovered. At that time, I just felt sad and ridiculous, and I became more determined to change the groom. "Rowan, maybe you don't even know who you love deep down in your heart. When our relationship was at its deepest, you were so determined to carve your ex-girlfriend's name on it. Perhaps in your heart, only what you can't get is the best. So when you had me, you missed Lynn Aurora, and now that you've lost me, you're trying desperately to get me back. Rowan, you only love yourself." After saying that, I turned and left. Behind him, Rowan couldn't hold back his tears, so loud that they were hoarse. But what I was thinking in my heart was, what will Chingju do for me when I go home tonight? "Let's have braised fish." I said I wanted to eat it a couple of days ago, and considering his proud personality, he would probably make it secretly. However, I didn't get to eat the braised fish in the end because I vomited. After going to the hospital for a checkup, I found out I was pregnant. Callum hugged me excitedly and smiled like a little kid. The baby was healthy. And Callum and I held hands and prepared to go back, but we met an old acquaintance in the corridor. In the corridor, Aurora Lynn knelt on the ground and begged Rowan not to abort her child, but Rowan still signed the abortion agreement with a cold face. Aurora coldly, "Unwelcome things should be aborted as soon as possible. I don't want this dirty bloodline to remain in this world. Lynn Aurora, you should have thought of the consequences when you told Isla about us. I clearly warned you that I can give you everything except the position of my wife. This is your retribution. I will never forgive you in my life." I suddenly coughed lightly. Rowan turned his head suddenly and looked at us, stunned for a moment. When he saw the pregnancy test report in our hands, he twitched his lips and uttered a few words. "Congratulations." There was no emotion in his eyes, neither sadness nor joy, but his eyes slowly turned red. Lynn Aurora finally couldn't help crying. Not long after, Lynn Aurora's mother also arrived and even banged her head against the wall, but she still couldn't stop Rowan from forcing Lynn Aurora to abort the baby. I don't know if Rowan finally got over it, but judging from how much he hated the mother and daughter of the Lynn family, I don't think so. As for me, I have let it go. No matter what happened in the past, I just want to live the present life well and cherish the people around me. Now I just want to live every day well with Chingju. Looking forward to the birth of our little princess or little prince.